Hello everyone, and today we're going to be talking about kind of like the Bitwig note expressions we have here a little bit. So in the Bitwig note expressions, we have things like the velocity, the timbre, and the pressure. And these alone on VSTs don't do anything. They only work for things that are meant for Bitwig, such as FM4 and polysynth. We can modulate all sorts of things in here about them, and I think there's a little list somewhere you can hook it up to. Maybe not anymore, but there used to be. So now we have these three things, and possibly even the velocity. Actually, yes. So let's look at Serum, for example. And in Serum, the only options we have for tracking any sort of velocity changes would be like, our velocity graph right here that we can essentially do whatever we want with, like that. And we can make any sort of velocity graph, though by default, a velocity graph is going to look like this, and a note graph is going to look like that. So when I play a note, I can keep playing that same note at the same spot in the note graph. Velocity, depending on how soft I play, it's going to move around. Kind of like that. Okay, so then I can go ahead and I can attach it to this, right? And then that will happen based on what note I play. I can adjust this to make it so, like, I have to play really quiet notes to get the saw wave, but basically anything that's not low enough will just play whatever's at the top, which really changes, like, how sensitive things need to be. So yeah, that's cool. And we can do that with note progressions as well. Like if we wanted to, we could do it to the pitch. But basically the point is no matter what note I play, it's going to be the same one. You can kind of do that with the note thing like that, and that's pretty cool. So we have those two things, but say you want to have some more depth. You can take your Serum, come in here, and grab this cool thing called expressions. Here we have the timbre, release, and pressure. Okay, so now we can basically take anything in here, maybe like something like the timbre, right? Because we have a timbre here, and if I place a note, there's the timbre, like that, and we can adjust the timbre of this note thingy like this, right? So when we hit that, it's actually going to change the way that is compared to this one down. So the timbre one isn't working. I'm going to admit I don't know much about the timbre way and like what it does and how it's supposed to work. So, but pressure does, because it would be like if you're pressing MIDI on a... Pressure isn't like velocity. Pressure's for like pens and fingers on like iPads that have like pressure systems and stuff. So they can tell how hard you're pressing, which is basically velocity for like an iPad. So you can utilize that here and hook that up to this. So I have different pressures here. Same note, pitch is changing. So you can do that in case you didn't know. And I think that is pretty cool. And even so, you might be able to mess with the release velocity, right? And now we have release velocity changing, and we can actually use release velocity to adjust all sorts of things now. Let's just apply this to the semitones. So here we go. They have different release velocities here in the side. I'm getting different reactions. And it works. There's a gain section here that you can mess with. However, that's not modulated to anything. And actually, as far as I know, you can't even get the gain out of here. So that's not really too much of an option. I think it's just the other way. I'm not sure what the gain... I'm not sure what the gain is for in this sort of thing, but also we can change the timbre and pressure of each note right here as well. And then we have like randomizing graphs for everything and whatnot. So yeah, that's just all I had to show, is that you can use kind of like the pressure and release systems in Serum. Just like that, you would have to grab them, macro them. Whatever you touch last pops up on the top of the list, just so you know. So it's a pretty simple like system. If you want to modulate something, you just go flip it, come over, automate, or just quickly route to it, and then like that's it. No big deal. But yeah, thanks for watching.